Hello, good morning, welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. We have a very foggy morning this morning. I don't know if you can see those lights there, but the pier over there is 300 metres away and I can't see it. So yeah, I'm gauging that we have about 150 to 200 metres of visibility as we stand right now. The sun has just broken the horizon in that direction. We have very small tide today. I'm going to go and try and anchor up in a new area that I've never fished before, just to experiment to see what it's like. I will talk you through it all as I do it. I just need to try and find some bait first, and we have a fair distance to go. Let's get after it. That's a bit better. Oh, there we go. Couple of little scaddies. Scad, or also called horse mackerel, have a lot of spikes on them. They have a really nasty one where my thumb is and all down their side. So yeah, you need to be careful when you're handling them. I would like, I don't know, half a dozen to 10 mackerel, scad, that type of thing. Ideally when I get further down the coast, I'm going to try and catch some launch, some large sand eel, because they would be perfect to put down for a bass. Let's get going. Yeah, that is beautiful. We do get some stunning sunrises this time of year. I saw a lot of birds kicking off over here, and originally I thought it was fish. I thought it was bass or mackerel. What it is there's a pair of seals over there and they've got an octopus each. I think the seagulls are after a bit of it. Yeah. Well, at least something's taking advantage of all the octopus. Just look at that. What a way to start your day, eh? Yeah, I'll have some of that action. I've stopped off onto a sandbank to try and catch myself some live sand eels, because when I put the anchor down I want to be able to suspend like a little live bait, see if there's a bass or a Dory or something. It is a beautiful morning. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm after. Yeah, so far, as far as starts of a session go, we're doing very well. We have some fantastic bait. Couldn't ask for better. We've got live sand eels, and we've got live bait scad, and we have fresh mackerel. And I brought a little bit of squid. So yeah, I'm going to have one more drop and see if I can't pick up a couple more sandburrs, and then we're going to go and put the hook down. Now, like I say, this is an area where I've never fished before. I've never anchored up here before, so I don't exactly know how the tides are going to work. We're just going to have to work it out. We are going to have the wind pick up in the afternoon, so I am keen to get maybe 5 or 6 hours fishing in, and then when the wind starts picking up, we'll pull the anchor in and we might go and troll some lures on the way home, see if we can't find a big fish. Perfect size. I'm just steaming on to the mark where I'm going to go to, and this is the second patch of this that I've found, and it's plankton. It's, well, it's what I would call red tide, and it is horrendously thick. Now it's very unusual for it to be this thick at this time of year, and it is the second patch of this that I've found. And it's everywhere. That's plankton. That's a plankton growth. But yeah, it's incredibly thick. I've never seen it this bad. Look. It's like soup. Doesn't smell foul. It's just yeah, that is crazy. I hope you don't put the fishing off. We have reached the area that I want to anchor up. What I need to do now is I need to sort out all my anchor rope, the Alderney ring and the buoy. I will get it all knocked up at the back of the boat, and I will drop. In fact, actually, I might drop down with a set of feathers here. There's something showing on the sounder right on the seabed. There are the varying patches of ground round here. We're in about 65 metres of water, and it's just broken ground. It's little bits of rock with bits of sand, and yeah, what I'm hoping for, spun me right round. What I'm hoping for is a mixed day's fishing. So spur dogs, taupe, huss, eels, bass, maybe a bream. I'm just going to try and scratch it out just to see what the crack is. There is an awful lot of plankton in the water. Now it is like in areas that tide line was crazy. I don't know. They're not taking the feathers. It might just be sprats, little white bits. I'll leave that there anyway. You keep an eye on that for me. Yeah, I've covered this in plenty of videos before about using an Alderney ring and a buoy. I have a length of anchor rope, and on the end of that I shackle in an anchor. There are different types of anchors to use. I usually keep two on board the boat. One so that I've got a spare, but also because I use them for different things. When it's really, really snaggy, I use a grapple anchor. When it is not so snaggy, I use a plough anchor. Now mine is rigged with a weak link so that it'll break out and trip out backwards. And I have around about 20 feet of chain. A good rule of thumb is 1.5 times the length of your boat. When you're anchoring up, the more chain you have, the less rope you need to put out. So I am currently in, like I say, 62.5 metres of water. I'm probably going to be putting out about 100 to 120 metres of rope. If I had no chain, I would have to put out like 150 metres of rope. If I had 40 feet of chain, I could probably get away with putting 70 metres of rope out. I'll get it all rigged up and get it shot over the side. There is the buoy, clipped into my Alderney ring. I was just double checking that the anchor was connected. Yeah. It looked very silly for throwing the anchor over the side and it wasn't connected to the rope. I have my anchor rope marked in lengths. There are markers every 50 feet. Because the rope's all the same colour, if I didn't, look, that's 200 feet gone out. If I didn't have those markers on, I'd never know how much rope was over the side. There we go, we have reached the bottom. Three markers, 300 feet. That'll do me. I will tie the rope off to the back there and let the boat drift and pull tight. That beds the anchoring. Then I'll pass the rope over the top, tight to the front of the cleat, let it go here, and we should spin round. It saves me having to work the anchor out with a little hatch at the front because my shoulders don't really fit very well. Get it all swung back round and I'll talk to you about the rigs. The first rig that I am going to send down is going to be a live bait rig, and that is purely just going to be a circle hook. Is that 4.5 to 5 feet? And I'm going to put one of the sand eels on. One of the flippy floppy sand eels. Watch me drop it now. Yeah, all you have to do is you just hook it through the lip. You don't go too far back, because if you go too far back through its head, you'll kill it and you won't have a live bait, you'll have a dead bait. Now that, I am going to suspend it maybe 3 or 4 feet off the seabed. I don't want your things like your dogfish or your huss or maybe even your spurs getting it. I want things like bass and John Dory's getting it. A John Dory would be an incredible result today. We have got half of a tide. I'm here halfway through the tide. So the tide's going to run in one direction for another 3 hours, and then it's going to turn around and go back in the other direction. Let's hit the bottom. And I will sit that on the ratchet and sit it down there. The other rods I'm going to be fishing with a bit of bait. One of them I'm going to put some squid on, one of them I'm going to put some mackerel on. On my light spinning rod, I'm going to be fishing like a cabura like that. That's going to be for something like a bream. And on the other one, I'm going to be fishing some heavier rigs. These are going to be for your larger fish. Now I am going to go down initially with mono, heavy mono. This is 150 pound mono, and these are 8 O's offset. If I get bitten off, then I know that there's something down there with teeth, so I'll start sanding down wire. I'm not going to start off with wire. I'll work up to it. Yeah. I'll get them baited up, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flapper off the side of the mackerel and bait it with this, and on the little cabura I'm going to put some little bits of squid. There you go. That is also going to show me if there's any little fish down there, like any pouting, any whiting, any poor cod, because that's a good idea to see how much life is on the ground. If you haven't got any little fish, you've got nothing for the big fish to eat. It's good to put a little scratching rig down just as an indicator. There we go. Mackerel with the hook forward. It is going to take a little while, I imagine, to bring any fish in onto the feed. Just because I need to get a bit of a scent trail going. We haven't got massive tides, so the fish are going to be marauding around. I need to draw them to me. We'll give this spot 3/4 of an hour, and if it's not working, we'll try a different one. But all of it today is just going to have to be reactive. We're going to have to try and figure out what's going on, because like I say, it's the first time I've ever fished here. This feels like something that we do not want to be catching. Oh. Yeah, that was a dogfish. I'm quite glad that he spat the hook. That barely touched the bottom. A red gurnard. Oh, just splashed me straight in the face. I'm trying to be easy when I handle him because they are covered in spines. Yeah, they're a lovely looking fish. A little bit too small to keep. They are delicious. Red gurnard are absolutely delicious, but this one's a little bit too small. live bait. Getting a few bites at once there. Oh, and one on this one. Getting a bite on that rod as well. Like I say, this was a live bait suspended off the bottom. It hasn't put up any fight yet, so I don't really know what it is. I know what I'm hoping for. That is what I wanted! That is what I wanted! Yes! Yes! That is exactly what I was after. I can't possibly convey to you how happy I am right now. This was exactly the best case scenario of what I was hoping for. That is a stunning great John Dory, and there is the live bait that I caught it on. There is the circle hook right in its mouth. I'll talk you through this rig in a second, but that's a mustard Demon circle, and this is an absolutely fantastic John Dory. They are one of the most unique looking fish in the ocean, I think. I am over the moon. Oh. Oh. What have we got on here? Probably a doggy. Yeah. Big old dogfish. But I tell you what, I don't care because I've caught a John Dory. Yeah, absolutely buzzing. It was my arch nemesis for years. I'm sorry, I'm trying to unhook this dogfish. And he's walloped the hook. There we go. See you later. All this rig here is just a sliding ledger with some mackerel on. Now, I am expecting I am going to get plagued out by doggy with that. That's not too much of an issue. Because if there are John Dories here, which was what I was hoping was going to be here, then I will gladly fish through them. The rig. Mustard Demon Perfect circles on, is that 4.5 to 5 feet? And all I've done was just a lead to get it down there. And he's still alive? Huh, he's still alive. He's going back twice. He's going again. Yeah, just hooked a sandale like that. One of the sandales that I caught earlier on the way down here. Yeah, and that was how simple it was. I literally dropped it all the way at the seabed, wound it up 5 turns, 6 turns, so it was sat away from the dogfish. So there was a live bait swimming around down on the seabed around all this just snaggy, skeggy ground. Because I had in my mind that I thought there'll be a John Dory around. I don't I don't get like ridiculously excited very often. Yeah, that's a big one for me. Is that the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll back the drag off, put it on the ratchet. And just sat it there like that. You saw everything, you saw the bites, and they are a wonderful creature. In fact, I'll bring this bucket a little bit closer. Yeah, they change. Oh, hello. Oh, that was a proper bite. What was I saying 5 minutes ago? I'll have to wait a little bit to get them on the feed. Could be a dogfish, could be a bullus. Right, it's come off. Yeah, it's popped it off, I don't mind. Oh, live bait's on the bat. Oh, there's something there. No, that feels like a dogfish. Or a cuttlefish. Whatever it is, it's back. Oh, it's going. Yeah, whatever it was, it came back for it. Well, this one's diving around a little bit. Putting up a bit more of a scrap, this one. Don't know what this is. Oh, that's something else. Oh. I wasn't expecting that on the live bait. I was expecting that on the bottom bait. That is probably what was just on that cabora as well. Oh, found it. Still there? Hey, that was weird. I will deal with this, what's in the net. And then I'll show you that there, but these can be a bit of a handful. This is a spur dog. Probably shouldn't have bothered putting him in the net. He's just wrapped himself up in it. Are you out? Are you out? Are you out now? Yes. The reason I put it in the net is because it was on a mono trace and not a very heavy one either. There is your spur dog. The reason why they're called a spur dog, let me just try and get hold of it without it spurring me. This is a little male, they're very scrappy. There is a spur, and it's got a little one in front of its dorsal as well. It's a male, you can see the little claspers under here. Yeah, that is why it's called a spur dog. Part of the shark family. And it's... Again, took that circle hook right in the corner of his mouth. We will see you later, sunshine. I have a feeling that my bait, my bigger bait on the bottom, has been ragged out by them. That's probably what was on. But yeah, there wasn't a lot left of my live bait when he'd finished, was there? Got you. Got you that time. Oh, you're swimming to the boat, are you? Oh no, he wants to turn round. The trick with these sometimes is keeping them coming in the right direction. No, a big spur dog. A big spur dog. Right, this spur dog is quite a big one. No, they are just notorious for scrapping like this. They are a handful. You gonna chill out? She just calmed down a tiny bit. Yeah. That's a much better spur dog than the first one. This one is a big female. You can see there, no claspers. She's got a big fat belly on her. She's probably got pups in her. But again, that big spur there. Just there. Another one on the dorsal. This one also, I don't know if the other one did, but this one's got some lovely spots on it. See? Come on, just smile for the photo. Calm down. There you go. Perfect. Oh. Where you go, love? See there, look. Swimming straight back down. Right. This John Dory in here, I will get the chance to show you it again. Everything's just been going crazy. Now these fish, they have like what's called a projectile mouth, where their mouth extends to like a chute. When they open it and go, it creates a suction that sucks fish into it. But yeah, you see how the colours have changed. They are just magnificent. Look at the size of that gullet. Yeah, they are an incredible fish. That little flurry of spur dogs there, it's good to see. I'm really happy to see them because I found them. Yeah, and what I was thinking in my mind about where they would be is correct. But I don't want too many of them because I would like to be able to hopefully catch another John Dory or a bass or a taupe or anything else like that. And quite often when them spur dogs move in, they just push everything else out because they're snappy, they're a shark, and also them spurs on the back. You will even see spurs coming up sometimes with scars on them. That female had a slash up her side where another spur dog had been slashed up into her. So yeah, they're really aggressive. I've been fishing for congers sometimes on a wreck and you had the congers properly feeding, and as soon as the spurs move through, the congers just go completely into hiding. I'm going to drop back down another live bait real quick, rebait, check my hook lengths because them spurs might have chewed them up, and then we will get our lives into order because that was a little bit of chaos. Brilliant chaos. Dogfish I stuck down a whole mackerel flapper in the hope of getting like a really big one. I've come back with a tiny dogfish. Yeah, that was a whole flapper. That dogfish has had me up, the cheeky sod. Got ya. What I'm going to do is, if we just keep catching spurs and dogs, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to pull the anchor up and I'm actually going to change positions. I'll fish this little spot and we do have a lot of spurs on it. Good, I found them, but I want to find something else as well. I'd love another John Dory or a bass. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm not happy unless I'm challenging myself. So I love exploring new areas like this. Some of these patches of ground, well, like when it's bad weather, like when it's horrendous. I mean, this weekend, for example, we're going to have 50-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday. Days like that, if I'm not... Oh, live bait's getting a bit of action. If I'm not working on something, like if I'm not working in the garage, if I'm not making rigs, if I'm not doing something, I'm usually looking on charts to try and find new marks. Like there's a certain amount of criteria that I always follow to find fish on an area. You need to understand what they like, the ground that they like, the water that they like, and the food that they like. So you're looking for the habitat, you're looking for good water flow, and you're looking for their food. If you haven't got one of those three, generally you're not going to get the fish. If you can find somewhere with those three, they will be there somewhere. So you're looking at this ground. I thought to myself, there'll be spurs, there'll be huss, there'll be strap congers. There's strap congers pretty much everywhere. I was hoping for taupe, but I'm a little bit high up on the rough. I'll possibly like to try and find a bit of bank, like sand meets rock. What I am going to do is I'm going to move to a different mark that I was eyeing up about 3 miles away from here, and have another drop down exactly as what I'm doing. There might be another John Dory there. If we find another patch of spurs, then I'm going to move a few miles and I'm going to go to a piece of really rough ground to try and find some congers and something. Yeah, that's the plan. I love it. I mean, it doesn't always work. I mean, this was an absolute blinding success from the first drop. Yeah, that John Dory is probably one of the highlights of my season. Some of these times when I go out, I don't catch anything. Like the marks are a dud. When I get there, I realise there's actually not as much tide as I thought, or there's no bait on the ground. Or yeah, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. You don't know if you don't try. I will quickly explain a theory about pulling this anchor up. Now, anyone who's watched these videos before has seen this, but for anybody who's new, I'm going to be using the Alderney ring and the buoy to hold the anchor. If you can imagine, that's my anchor rope down to the seabed. Onto it, I have the Alderney ring and a buoy, so it's on a ring through the rope. No, it's on a ring round the rope. The rope goes through the ring. As I steam away, I'm going to steam round in a big circle, like away from where my anchor is, up and round the back of it. And the buoy, because of the water resistance against it, should slide down the rope until it's straight up and down. And then the buoyancy of the buoy lifts the anchor for me. It will make more sense as I show you, but yeah, it's an easier way of doing it. When the buoy starts burying under the water, it means it's reached the end. So I'll slowly loop back round, pull the rope in. The beauty of this as well is that my anchor is already set for the depth. That other mark that I'm going to go and fish now is the same depth. So all I need to do is just throw it straight over the side again. There you I reckon that we'll get maybe 3/4 of an hour to an hour here, most. And then I would like to try a really rocky patch on the way back, because there's every chance that you might pick up like a rough groundling. I do really like this type of fishing. With bait fishing, like anything could turn up. With lure fishing, you're generally going to be catching 1 or 4 or 5 different species. With this, anything could rock up. You can see that tide's pushing across now. We've got wind across tide. The wind's coming this direction, the tide's going that way. So although my anchor rope's sat like that, my boat's sat like that, we'll make it work. Oh, it might be back again. Yeah. Doesn't feel like a John Dory, that one. Yeah, whatever this is, it's got a bit of weight behind it. I will show you this because I don't necessarily want to bring it on board, just because they are a bit of a nuisance. There's the circle hook, and there is what's left of that live bait. Not much you can do with that. I'll tell you what, them circle hooks have hooked in well. Them circles have worked really well. I mean, it's hooked it right in the corner of the mouth. That spur dog, if that line had come in contact with its teeth, it would have just patted it straight off. But yeah, that's what's left of your live bait. Oh, pouting. Huh. I think we're going to sack off this mark, and we'll go and try the other. Try the rough ground mark. Oh, little Joey's. I will gladly accept that, thank you very much. Right, the new patch of ground that we're going to anchor up in is super rocky. So, I have switched the anchor over. Switched it over from a plough to a grapple. And again, this is rigged with a weak link here, so that if it does get stuck, it snaps out and breaks out backwards. It's been a while since I've used it. It's been a while since I've used that anchor. I'm going to kill the engine now, and we're just going to drift, and I'm just going to see roughly which way we're going to go, because in this area the tides do all types of strange swelly things. I have a feeling that the wind is going to overpower the tide, so we're going to end up laying in that type of direction, but with the tide cutting across it. So I'm going to have to fish off one side of the boat. My goodness, that plankton is super thick. It's like snow in the water, isn't it? Yeah. Tell you what, it'd be good for any type of filter feeding whale. Again, I'm in a new spot now, so I'm going to have to rebuild that sentry. This time for the live baits, I am using the little Joey's. With the other rod, I'm going to go down with a 100-pound line. Just because Huss, they're not shy of a heavy trace, but you do tend to catch better with a lighter trace. A ling or a conger picks you up, there is a chance of me getting bitten off. I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll figure it out. That's the best I can say. I hope it's not going to happen. It might happen. We'll figure it out. Oh, hello. The live bait rod has just had a nice bite on it. Give it a second to get it in its mouth. Oh, have we got it? Possibly. No. That is that is most likely going to be a cuttlefish. And it's probably killed my live bait now. Well, I got it eventually. Yeah. The bite didn't feel like a ling, it felt like a huss. Oh no, it's just an angry huss. There you go. There's your angry bull huss. Yeah, I've got some wicked gnashers in there. You wouldn't like it to get out of you. Just like a massive angry dogfish. The live bait that I put down there, that I said I'd taken a hit and then it just came off and I was like, oh, that'll be a cuttlefish. Cuttlefish, when they attack a bait, they always attack the back of the head. They smash the back of the head in. This little joey has come up and the back of his head smashed in. So yeah, we know what that was a cuttlefish. I was hoping they wouldn't be down here because it's a bit deep for them. But yeah, it appears like they are, so we were just going to have to fish through them, unfortunately. Yeah, they love live baits. Up. Going again. Oh yeah, maybe. There is something there. Yep, dogfish. Oh. Tell you what, that hit it the second it hit the seabed. It must just be absolutely thick with cuttlefish down there. When there's a lot of dogfish around, there is not an awful lot you can do. Just got to try and fish through them. It's not easy to do. You can try putting down really big baits and it sometimes puts them off, but I've had dogfish take like a whole mackerel mounted on a 14 before. So yeah, you've just got to hope something bigger comes in and pushes them off. As I mentioned earlier on, dogfish are just a pain in the backside. He's completely knackered up both rigs and didn't even take the bait. In the net. Said to you it's cuttlefish, didn't I? Oh, bless you. Gonna go again? Yeah. Told you it was cuttlefish. What I did there was on the back of my live bait, well, you can see, look where he's attacked the back of the head. On the back of the live bait, I sent down a squig jig with some spikes in. So when Mr. Cuttlefish got hold of the live bait, he also got hold of the squid jig. Got him. this mark here, this area of reef, I cannot believe how much plankton is coming past. And the fishing, I honestly believe that's what's affecting it. Because it looks like it should be a brilliant mark to fish. And I've winkled out a couple of doggies and a couple of husks. Yeah, all that big slick that I saw earlier on, I think now that the wind's picked up, it smashed it all up into little particles and it's just everywhere. Let's see about getting this anchor up. Now, of any of them, this is going to be the tricky one, because there's every chance that the anchor might have got stuck. All I'll do is I'll take the rope down to the after cleat, take one loop round it, so that all the pulling isn't done from the Samson post at the front. And then I'll keep an eye on it, maybe keep my hand on it even, because you can feel the vibration of the rope in the water, and when if it gets stuck, you feel it start to tighten, in which case you slacken off, otherwise you're going to end up breaking. There we go. But the piece of wood, the wooden block that I've got in, I could hear it going gok, 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 as it was tightening and tightening and tightening. And the buoy was under the water and all of a sudden it bobbed up. That bob up was the anchor busting free. And on the way home, I'm going to tow some big loads around. See what else we can try and find. I have brought the bars in just because the water, I have honestly never seen it this bad. It is like that thick with it. I have honestly never ever seen it this bad. And I am just not seeing a bit of life. There is nothing, the sounder is completely empty, look. There is not a fish to be seen. There's not a bird, there's not a dolphin, there's not a splash of a tuna, there's not nothing. The water is just like soup. Yeah. So I brought the bars in and I'm going to head back. And you two are coming home with me. Now these John Dories, they are just truly incredible. Stunning looking fish. And every one of these roosters and all of there is like a really nasty spike. Yeah, all along here. On there I've all got spikes. On here I've got spikes. On there is just 2 rows of serrations. Yeah, and on the backs of their gills. They are a stunning looking fish. And delicious. The method that I use for prepping these John Dories is super simple. All you need is a really strong pair of scissors or a pair of shears. And literally all you do is you'll take them and you just cut around and take all the edges off. You take the head, take all the spines, the tail and everything off, and you are left with that, which is literally all of the meat. It's just that part.
What have you got going in here then, James?
So we're gonna so I've chopped up some peppers into some chunks to put some John Dory in. And I'm now just chopping some potatoes to go in as well.
Nice. What seasonings are we going for?
I'm going for salt, pepper, and a little bit of paprika, I'd say.
Some paprika?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Garlic?
Yeah, I've got some roasted garlic right there.
Okay. Look at that nice white fish, James.
they've got an interesting kind of bone structure. So it does just kind of peel off in sections, doesn't it? Look.
It does.
And then Tom and Jerry style,
Look at
it
that.
just
That was handy.
completely comes off like that. Look. That's why that prep work, when you take it off around the outside, it works so well because it's just
It does. Like a comedy skeleton.
the meat. It's very white and very meaty, isn't it? Delicious. Cool. Careful now. We have some very, very empty plates. Yes, that fish was absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.
See you later.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.